manufacture their own food, but they depend either directly or indirectly on plants, which are the producers or the autotrophs, for their food. So they depend directly or indirectly on plants for their food. So this process is called heterotrophism. Heterotrophism. And the organisms that depend on plants, or the organisms that carry out heterotrophism, are called heterotrophs. They are also called consumers. Okay? Now this illustration of this picture helps us to understand heterotrophism or heterotrophs, the relationship between autotrophs and heterotrophs. You can see the plant, which is a producer as an autotroph, makes use of sunlight to manufacture its food, and the grasshopper now feeds on the plant directly. Remember from our definition, we said the heterotrophs or heterotrophism is where the organism obtains, the process by which an organism obtains its food, either directly or indirectly from the autotrophs or the producers. So the grasshopper, which is a consumer now, obtains the food from the plant, which is a producer. And moving up, you can see that the bird feeds on the grasshopper. So that bird is also obtaining energy indirectly from the plant by feeding on the grasshopper. Then we also have the snake consuming the bird, and we have the owl consuming the snake. So from this is actually a food chain that shows the transfer of energy from one organism to the other. It also helps us to understand heterotrophism. So you can see the other organism, the bird, the snake, and the owl, by consuming each other, indirectly get their energy from the plant, while the grasshopper directly gets its energy from the plant. Now let's take a look at the abiotic components of an ecosystem, and this has to do with the non-living things which exist in the ecosystem. And here we're going to look at the climatic factors, inorganic materials and nutrients, edaphic factors, and other factors. So what are the climatic factors? Which are things like the temperature, wind, humidity, sunlight, and rainfall. These are climatic factors, and they belong to the non-living components or the abiotic components of an ecosystem. We also have inorganic materials and nutrients such as carbon dioxide, oxygen, nitrogen, calcium, and phosphorus. We also have the edaphic factors like soil, rocks, and topography. And finally, we also have other factors like dust, storm, fire, and wind. All of these have a role to play in the ecosystem, and they belong to what is called the abiotic components, which are the non-living components of an ecosystem.